All right, so in today's video, we are watching a PLAT Moira who says they feel like this game was just a struggle, which I'm sure a lot of people in ranked have had those struggle games. And surprisingly, they say that their teammates were playing pretty well, but despite their teammates playing well, they feel like they were barely able to actually do anything. We'll have to find out what they mean. Also, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube, leave a comment. All of that helps. Here we go. It's time. Let's see what that means, because I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. Ooh, okay. Well, here's a start. Just going up there all on your own by yourself randomly and trying to do something, that is how you do absolutely nothing. Just so you know. That's how you do nothing, is if you do that. You said first of all, for anybody saying Plat 1 really with question marks, I can assure you right now, people do that in top 500 too. That play alone does not dictate someone's rank. That happens in any rank. I'm telling you right now. That exact location happens to people, and I see it happen all the time on this map. Yep, watching. There we go. Heal up your team as much as you can. It's gonna take a bit. Sigma should just go back to spawn. I mean, technically, if I'm on Sigma there, before I go out of spawn and switch heroes, I actually let my teammate heal me. That ult charge can add up and lead to a really good ult. Okay, now you have an Orisa, which is interesting. We're watching. Good damage orb. You almost went for it again, but that's a little bit better just to damage orb up there rather than try to, like, be too aggressive. Watching, sticking with your core. Healing your back line. Everything's... Cassidy got rolled. Now you're split on cart. You're split. Your team's split. So also, if there's a certain situation where, like... It's okay if you get off the cart there because you had the Orisa there. There you go. We go help your team. Nice healing orb. Good job. Keep your teammate up. They should be able to be healed a little bit sooner because they don't have the 15% healing debuff. After this ult, don't be afraid to ult. After they use their punch. There you go. Perfect timing on your ult, by the way. Perfect timing on your ult. You're going to get punched out of it now if they go for you? No, you're good. Put a damage orb back left. Oh, nah. Technically, if you didn't just stare at the pulse bomb, you would have been able to damage orb that, but you want to start to, like, clear out the doorways with that damage orb. You're going to be fine, but things like that can help. Yeah, I mean, so far it's been good gameplay. I don't really... Outside of the initial part where you went and made that play, so far so good. At least that's how I see it, right? So far so good. This is the second spectating game I have today. Oh, there's a Sombra. That's fair. I'm watching. That was just an unlucky orb timing, but you should still win the team fight. Yeah, you're right. Your teammates are playing well. I feel like you're having a lot of one-team fights where they're just popping off. But, like, I feel like you're also kind of underestimating how you're playing. I think you're playing fairly well so far. Like, I obviously you said the game becomes a struggle at some point, and that will happen, but from the beginning of the game, outside of a couple small things here and there, like, you've been playing well. Keep in mind they have EMP here. This is where you want to try to track ultimates a little bit, because if you stay on the low ground, eventually you're going to be the one that gets EMP'd. Try to keep just like your Orisa being EMP'd here. Definitely back away now. Back away. If they get Sune, you want to back away slightly. You're gonna get EMP'd, I'm telling you right now, or that's going to happen. Something like that is going to happen if you just sit there when they use their Kitsune. It's okay to make it like a reaction in any rank when you see a Kitsune to back up. If you're playing and somebody sits in your Kitsune on the other team, you are pumped about that. So I want you to think about it the other way, where you are now the one standing in the Kitsune getting rolled. So make it a habit to disengage those type of plays, right? Like, make it a habit to back up rather than just sit there and engage those team fights the whole time. You know what I'm saying? That's how I at least see it at that point. Yeah, like, you're not going to stand in front of a window, exactly. Like, your team just stayed there. Now, you're like, oh, my Orisa went in. You know what you do? You wave hello to your Orisa, and then you say, have a good day. Because if your Orisa runs into the ult, they have to almost at that point. and they might have survivability. And if they get rolled, you get rolled. Be careful of over-committing to this. Yeah, so far so good. Nice. Good job. Good follow-up. What rank is this? This is plat. Yeah, good ult. I mean, the ult's that's also a hindsight ult. You were like 2 seconds away from also losing your ult. Yep. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a second. I want to see how this team fight goes regardless. I'll let this team fight happen, and then we're going to talk about this. Okay. Apparently there's ads, so I'll pause for 1 second, and then I want to quickly kind of explain to give you an idea here. You talked about how the game was a struggle, right? Now, what is an ultimate you haven't seen yet in the whole game? Like, what's an ultimate that you haven't seen popped yet on their team? That ultimate is EMP, right? So here's my question: why are you all 5 of you standing on cart when the game has an indicator that you can see? So look above. You see above on like the timer. There's an indicator on that part that shows you how many people on cart. So if you're a Sombra and you see that number say 5, you are about to have the freest EMP you ever have. Now what happens if you just have your Orisa sit on cart? What does that Sombra do? Do they dive your backline in EMP? Maybe. Do they have the same follow-up? Maybe. But why are you all stacking on the cart in that type of situation? And I'm not saying that like you're gonna have like perfect ult tracking in gold, but at a certain point, it's kind of like you'll realize they don't have EMP. So at that point, you just say to your team, get off cart. Or at the very least, you get off cart. Maybe you can survive with a good healing orb into the team because you have a better angle, right? Like that team fight lasted long enough to where you need to kind of like try to play that in a better position than just stand on the cart. You're giving the Sombra a free EMP. Now look at this. Sombra doesn't see anything, but what do you see? Look where the mouse is. What do you see up here? Sombra doesn't even have vision of your team yet. Look where their whole team's at. Right? So the only thing that's going to work is if this Sombra gets EMP. Now watch the Sombra. Ready? Oh, wow. What a treat. Everybody is stacked. Keep in mind, at this point, it's essentially a 2v5. The only way they win this is with a 5-person EMP. And your team goes, you know what? What would happen if we stacked on the cart? You're waving hello like, ha, this is our point. There's no way a Sombra's going to come to point and EMP us. You're waving hello to him. But that's the problem. And that's why sometimes games can feel like a struggle when you don't think of that next step of ults. Keep in mind, by the way, I'm not saying if you're in a bronze game right now that you have to track ultimate. Okay, I'm just saying becoming aware of one ultimate that hasn't been used in a while can be, next thing you know, you win 10% more of your games because you just look for that stuff. But you see that though? That was a 2v5 won by their team because your team all sat in cart. That didn't show the EMP again. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought the same thing. I'm like, I gotta show the EMP here. And then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm committed to this. Pulse bomb play. What do you do about that? Good hinder. Might be able to actually win this if you can get a. I was gonna say, if you can get a good healing orb off, I think you can actually win this team fight because the Tracer's gonna get rolled. Yeah, good job. Well played. There you go. Grabbing your Mercy out of spawn. I feel like any Mercy player will absolutely love you for that because there's a lot of players who don't go back and get their Mercy. Here's my tip. If your Mercy dies and you're near spawn, grab your Mercy. I try to do it as much as I can. Same with like Kiriko. You know, there's an indicator that shows people on the point. Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about the spectating series. They can be super entertaining, and you can also learn something. You know what I'm saying? You can also learn something. And now we continue on. Here's the ult. And there you go. So what happens when you use Moira? Because it was a perfect time to pause that. Like these are things you need to think about. These are things that you have to think about. And this is things that I think about when I'm playing the game. If I'm going to use an ult, what can stop my ultimate? Now, that doesn't stop me from getting rocked, attacked by a Sombra, etc. But Doomfist Punch can stop your ult. Sombra Hack can stop your ultimate. There's does Hinder stop Moira ult? I don't even know. It just might just hinder Moira in place. That one I don't know. I think it just hinders you in place. You can't use your movement. The point I'm making is, like, you need to think about that stuff. But yeah, you can't use your fade. The reason why I have to ask that question is because I play heroes like Jungle Queen, where if they hinder me, it stops my ult completely. So sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe it will stop Moira ult or something like that, but no, it doesn't. Yep. There's things that can stop your ultimate, so you need to think about that when you're frontlining. So.
Step right.
I gotta be honest with you, those are some EMPs right there by both Sombras. I'm gonna be honest with you. Those are some ults across the board. Remember, you have your ult. You know what to watch out for. Nice, good job on the Sombra. Perfect. Check your team, scan your team, good job. Everything's fine there. The punch there at the end, that's okay. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Huge res by the Mercy. Good job getting a little bit of a heal there, too. We'll see if that wins the fight or not, but that was wonderful. Nice.
Step right.
And good play. I'm going to be real with you, though. You said you feel like you're doing nothing. May I ask you, like, what part of this game do you feel like you're doing nothing so far? Like, that's kind of the question I have, because you're definitely doing something. But, like, what is it you feel like you're not doing? Like, that's what I want to know here. Like, what do you feel like you're not doing? That's kind of where I'm at with that one. I feel like you weren't getting much progress at times. Fair enough. When it comes to, like, progress, your team is doing fine. You're just losing fights when, like, you're not thinking about what they have. That's what you're doing. You're just not thinking about what they have. And that becomes a part of the problem. I think really what it is that you feel like your team's playing well, but then you're still having close games. Usually that really does come down to the ult game a lot of the time. It means that you're just not really... You're either winning team fights where they don't matter at, or your ult usage, or you're getting ulted a ton and you lose ult fights, right? Because you can... Oh, we can pause for ad time. I can do that. Yeah, we got it. All right, here we go.
Cannot escape me.
Would I have somebody else water review my games? I do. What do you mean? We have a coach on Team Overwatch. I've already been getting coached. Like I said, that's what I love too. Is like just because like I do spectating and stuff does not mean at the same time I have plenty of stuff in the game I can work on. I try my best to improve on them. That's how I'll keep getting better too. So I feel like overall though you play fine. I think it's really just you need to really start to pay attention to ults, in my opinion. Because you've had good movement. Your heal and damage output's been a good balance. I can't really see the scoreboard, so I'm not sure. Like, I would say this one, your position was a little bit off, but like Moira's one of those heroes that can get back into position really quickly. You have an idea they're going for you. You're using good movement to get out. You're not going to the spot that you expect, like they expect you to go to. Flip side is you're not helping your team as much, so it's like, you know, maybe if you're with your team there, you have a better team fight, but at the same time, your team's getting snowballed, so like that's more of a positional issue to begin with. Like they probably would just win anyway. Okay, so now you're in a situation where, okay, they just did all that. What would they have? And that's what you think about. And you can start to pre-plan this. And this doesn't even have to be a team effort, because you just want to get yourself in the good habit of this type of stuff, right? So for example, I'll give you an area where I've improved at is because I've learned in scrims like more about disengaging correctly. Like if I see a Kitsune now, my first reaction is to disengage. A lot of the times my first reaction was to, oh, I need to push past this. Most of the time now I disengage out, and the result ends up being a lot better. Like the result of that ends up being way better than I would be normally. So what I'm trying to say here is, okay, so now you think about what else they have, and then think about what you're gonna do. Are you gonna disengage? And keep in mind, this does get to that next level, like of Overwatch, but it's okay to start to like get in these good habits as you climb. They're not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be the correct play every time, but it will help you get better and recognize the situation. So like right now, you know they have Kitsune. And even if you don't know they have Kitsune, if you hear a Kitsune or see a Kitsune, make your reaction to back away. Wasn't I playing with Jay yesterday as a tank? Well, we were on a team, yeah, and I play tank. Yep. Don't have to react to that. Don't have to. I knew you were going to do that too. That's why I started to say you don't have to react to that. I knew it. I knew it. Recognize what's happening. Do you have your sound enabled by any chance, DJ? Not like your like actual sound. Do you have your the kill feed sound enabled? You have the teammate deaths enabled? Okay, so that was just one of those moments where you kind of just went with the moment. Okay. No, that wasn't asking if their sound is on. There's an option in game that when your teammates die, it will play a sound. So like that way when you don't use your ultimates, like it makes it easier not to use your ults. Doesn't mean you won't have bad ults. I hear that sound. I do the same thing. I was just making sure that you have that enabled. But yeah, I knew right away. That's why I said like, oh yeah. Once you knew your teammates were already dead at that point, you weren't going to be able to win that or turn that. Anyway. Here's an EMP. Now keep in mind, you turned your back from the Zarya on point and it went well, but it's not always going to go that way. And when I say went well, that doesn't mean perfect. Another thing there that happened, by the way, is you notice how your Sombra went in with that EMP? And you didn't win the team fight cleanly? It's because they weren't all stacked on cart, so only like 3 of them, I think, got ulted instead of 5. And that shows you the difference in, like, even if they weren't expecting the EMP, maybe they just didn't want to get on cart, that just shows you the difference of how those team fights can go. You won the team fight, but it wasn't a clean one like their team was initially, or like where they 2v5'd essentially. What was that, High Noon by Cass? That's just High Noon. I expect 0 value from a High Noon. You know what is valuable to me from a High Noon? My teammate not falling over immediately. That is a valuable High Noon to me. Watch in. Yeah, you didn't have any, oh no, you're good. You ran out of resources there. Now, that's probably just means you need to just probably do a little bit more right-click on the front line there. But yeah, that was a little bit of a tough one. You know what this is? This is one of these games where, like, mechanically, your team's playing fine. Your team's doing well. Your team just has, your team, honestly, doesn't do well with ults or against ults. For the most part, and that's the problem. So far, that is. Your team just isn't good at ulting. So you're winning the game where, like, you don't have to worry about ults. And then when it gets to ult mode, your team doesn't react to the ults correctly. You just get rolled by it. That's really what it is. Yeah, exactly. Healing at full HP when you don't need to, like, getting all that, like, that's important stuff, obviously. Oh yeah, I mean, but like, and that's fine that you said like you usually have good ults, etc. But you're gonna have games like this where, and the reason why the spectating can be so important for that, or like the review, is that now you'll also remember the review, so when you're having games where your ultimate usage isn't good, you can recognize that sooner and not have consistently bad ults. Maybe you have 2 bad ults right away, you go, oh wait, I remember now when I was watching the spectating or I saw a spectating, I need to focus on that. Now you remember that, and then your ultimates get much better because you're thinking about it, right? So that's more of what it is. It's recognizing those habits that you can, like, kind of just, you know, you can remember those moments, and now your ultimates get better, and you can think about, like, that simple Sombra play, and now you're, like I said, you win 10% more of your games, which doesn't sound like a lot, but anytime you have a 10% improvement, that over time will lead to a rank up, right? Gigantic Donuts, thanks for the 6 months of the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. So, yep. And they haven't ulted for a bit, so you don't have to worry about that. Positioning's okay. As long as you survive it, I'm fine with it. Moira can be a little bit more risky with some of the plays. Yeah, I can see what someone pointed out to you. I don't know if you're recognizing it yet. But one thing you're doing is a great orb there, by the way. Wonderful play. You just win that. You are healing targets who are, like, full HP sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of Moiras do that. But you're actually giving up some of your resources right away. And obviously on one team fights like that, it's fine. But, like, you're using your resources up really quickly on people who don't even need heals. And sometimes you're actually running with issues there. Yeah, that's just, again, you see what's happening to your team? You're winning these really good team fights, and then they have a Reaper ult. Your team isn't doing anything except standing there, and you get rolled by Reaper ult. Now, what's going to happen? Your team, and yourself included there, snowballed out, as in, like, you basically just ran away from the cart and didn't stop the cart. Now you're going to run out of here. You're going to go, oh, we have High Noon and Moira ult, but guess what? Look at their ults. They're going to build 4 ults right now, so if you don't have the correct time in here or get a pick right away, That's it. Your team's gonna lose this. Good pick. Okay, you're fine. It worked out. It worked out. Would dying on cart be better? Yeah. So the reason why you die in cart, people ask this all the time, like, oh, why would I want to die at the objective, etc., is because, like, even that 2 seconds of time is like a make or break in Overwatch. So if you die in cart, the cart gets no progress. That gives your teammates more time to spawn up and to regroup. And then people go, well, yeah, but if I'm dying on cart and I'm staggering, yeah, but the cart isn't moving. So what's going to be worse? Falling back and dying 8 seconds later and creating a larger stagger, or dying on the cart, stopping the cart for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, building up 5% ult charge, and then coming back and playing. You see what I'm saying? That's why you want to die in cart. If you lose this team fight, don't be surprised. They have 3 ultimates that are hard to play against. You have Valk. This is a situation where chat goes, what do you do? This is where you get a little bit creative. Put your Cassidy on, like, this is where you get creative, by the way. You know, and this, once again, I know this is kind of next level stuff, but maybe it's good to start bringing some of this stuff up during spectating. If you're in this situation, be like, yeah, we have no ults. Why not put your Cassidy up here? They have Grav, they have Zarya, they have Kiriko. Well, why not put somebody up on a high ground behind them, right? Now when they go to make their play, they have to worry about a different angle. This is what we talk about, creating different angles. Like, think about that. Don't go bridge, right? Because if you go bridge, they can just grab you up there anyway. What about right here? Well, if they solo grab you, you're going to fall back a little bit. Great, though. You see what I'm saying? You basically need to, in these situations, get creative, but this is where, you know, you said your teammates are playing well, but it was a struggle. This is why it's a struggle, because you're getting ulted. See what I'm saying? But now they're just going to over-ult you. You're going to stack and you're going to get over-ulted. You're just going to lose. Oh, and here we go. Do you see? And I'm not saying you win that team fight, but the question you ask yourself is, did your team give yourself a chance to win that team fight? I would say probably not. No. I would say probably not. You'll notice that in scrim sometimes, we're like, yeah, we have nothing, we need to be aggressive. That's so we can prevent them from setting up a play. See? Yep. You see now? And that's why the game feels like a struggle. Your team's playing fine, but when it comes to ults, your team just isn't ready for that. It doesn't prepare for it. There you go. What rank is this? This is Plat 1. So. How's it going? Watching? Oh wait, it really is a viable strategy here to push cart on this part of the map, especially if their Zarya is going to play like that. Your Winston should be on that Zarya. Nice. The reason why your Winston wants to go on that Zarya because they can get out easily over the top of the wall. Ooh, actually, good play by their Ana. That sleep actually was the reason why that happened. I do want to say, win or lose here, which it looks like you might lose this fight, this is a good spot for the cart. This is real talk. If someone had said, hey, well, why don't you just do this, go high ground, go take map control, doing this and that, if you get the cart to this spot, this is a very winnable game, because you can play server now. Server's the spot next to where the cart just was. You now can play one of the best spots in the game for holding his defense, and the other team is forced to have to take it from you. So you actually put yourself in a good spot there by pushing the cart. So this is an extremely winnable game. Just to show people why this is server right here. See? So you can play that.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Yep. Movement's been good. Did your Cass yelled at the Winston there for being on cart? That doesn't really make much sense. I mean, technically, it's okay to push the cart there. Like, I think that's more of the situation where it sounds like your teammates are on a different page, right? Good job helping there up here because you get the res off. This is a great job helping. First you can get the res. No, they can't. Good luck. Bye. They got the res, but the Doom's up there. That's a strategy that's used. All right, there's the Bastion on point, pretty low. Nice movement. Hindsight, you probably don't overcommit there to save the ball. Yeah, so I would say this. Because we had talked about it a little bit, and we could just summarize it really quickly. You mentioned that you felt like this game was a struggle, and you didn't really know where you couldn't do anything. You played fine. I thought you played a really good Moira, and maybe people can agree or disagree, but I thought you played a very good Moira. But your team's ultimate tracking, your team's ability to react to ultimates wasn't good, and you lost because of that. That's pretty much it. That's how I see that. So it just, I think the overall summary for you is, outside of like some ult usage here and, some not like healing full HP teammates the whole time, I think that you need to, it comes out of ults. So the best thing you can do there to help, if you want to know how to help, is just let people know, hey, there's this ultimate and try to make plays off of that. I think that will help you, and I think you'll start to improve. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. Make sure to leave a like, comment, all that. I just said likes and subs, and I said leave a comment. I don't know. You know what I mean. If you want to submit your own spectate, look in the description below. You will see my Discord. That is where you can submit spectatins, all that stuff in general. A lot of stuff on there you can submit stuff for. We also record these live on stream, so if you look below the webcam, you can see the Twitch chat. We have a lot of fun here, so stop by if you haven't. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day/night.